Hello, this is Shiva. I'm the developer of the fpxEngine, and I'm just going to show you a quick update. I'm still on the fpxEngine beta 1.4.1, and I'm getting there. I was hoping to get this video out a little bit sooner, but unfortunately I always find problems with the code, especially with how FP actually does things. And but I'm sort of aiming to get 1.4.1 out next week, more than likely sometime around maybe the 12th, 13th, or the 14th, somewhere in that area. Anyway, I'm showing you here is my rather messy code at the moment. I have a lot of cleanup. I have manual pages to write and stuff. But we're going to start with this. With most important, this is the pin settings. I've mentioned these before. These allow you to turn on and off these features within fpxEngine. But most importantly, we're going to talk about shivaFlippers first. FP has been something that's been driving me nuts for months now, and it's a problem with FP, and it's how what happens if you have a very slow speed of the ball on a flipper tip, and what happens is it causes the drag of the flipper. And if you've noticed, every once in a while the flippers in shivaFlippers sort of drag if it's very weak flippers. I've had to bite the bullet, and I've made a couple of changes to it, so it's been greatly minimalized. As you can see, these are my new settings now. But I want to highlight something that's new. A lot of people are having problems with doing a very simple tap pass. They're just not fast enough, or their hardware just isn't very good. So I've added a delay system in here, and it's a timer delay, and you just set it anywhere from 0, which is off, to 6. And the delays if you set it to 1, you have about 11 millisecond delay, and if you set it to 6, you have about a 31 millisecond delay. I've got it on 6 because it makes it really easy to show tap passes and everything else on here. There is also a sort of new volt, and this is the massive one, and as you can see, it's this guy right here. Let me just switch everything off for you. Yeah, all of this, and this is actually a pretty massive bolt item. It was sort of based on 8-ball. It's actually a advancing value system. This is very common in Bally, and what it does is it just the first time you score some points, the second time you score a little bit higher, the third time it just keeps going on and on and on. This is actually, oddly enough, this is set to the points from the Bally game Lost World, and if you notice on the design, it kind of does look a lot like Lost World, doesn't it? There it is right there. And yeah, that's in fact will be a future vault item. I'll be taking the scoring from the advanced value system, and I'll be adding it to that, so you'll have basically the scoring from that will definitely be a vault item. Well, anyway, let's just show you. So we'll get this thing going here. Now I should mention this new vote system does have its own shadow maps, as you can see. If I didn't put shadow maps in there, it wouldn't look very good, to say the least. There would be virtually no shadows because there's really no bulbs in that area that's lighting it up. And unfortunately, I had to add 2. This is again a thing specifically with the shadow maps in BAM. The biggest problem with shadow maps is you generate them once, but if you make any changes to your design or add any more additions, that shadow map will not generate. So you have to regenerate, you have to quite literally delete the entire shadow map every single time you make a big change in your design of your table, and you have to regenerate it. The other thing is that they are you define the bulb to generate the shadows from, and sometimes shadows don't disappear when you want them to, like with drop targets and things like that. If I put a shadow map by those drop targets, it would show the shadows, but every time the drop target would go down, the shadow would still be there. All right. But you know, this is the thing where you have limitations, and there's not a heck of a lot you can do about them, but you know, that's just the way it is. So let's show you the advanced value. First off, this has a considerable amount of bulbs and lens lighting, and it actually has you can see the rubber hits here. It has a little target. If you hit once, it will light up the light, and you score extra, and you just score a bonus on that. I really couldn't think of anything else to put in there, and it's pretty easy to assign something else to it. Now with the ball, it goes up, and as you can see, there we go. Gradually but surely. I may change the light routine. It's alright. Oh, I got a special. And reset. This is basically a work in progress. You may not actually have this vault item available with the next release. It is a very huge template, and to make matters worse, it's very, very complex in the coding, and with all of these lights and everything else that we need to do, it can be a very tough thing to get absolutely perfect. And as you can see, it still does need a little bit of work. Anyway, just to let you know just how much how big this thing actually is. This is the main coding here for all of the bulbs and the lights, and as you can see, it's a lot of coding. And you can see, for instance, there's 9 lens lights, and this is I did this particular vault because I wanted to test a group feature, which is I have my bulbs and my plastics divided into four separate groups, and as you can see, it's a lot here. So it is 11 bulbs in this, and that includes not just the bulbs but plastics. So there's 11 in total, 9 lens lights. There is 4 scoring objects in this particular vault. It has its own shadow maps. There's 2 of them. In fact, I had to end up using 2. You've got all of the lens, and as you can see, the code is getting there, but there's lots of light routines and everything else that needs to be fine-tuned and everything. So hopefully I'll be able to get it done by the end of say Monday, and that will give me some time to write all the manual pages and update all of the changes that I have made to the engine. This will more than likely be the final vault item that I will be releasing for 1.4.1. I have done some sort of preliminary work on the multi-ball, but it's still a long way away, and I want to get this guy going first. So as you can see, very complex, lots of objects still needed to be added. Like I noticed, I haven't put posts up here or anything else yet, but it will get there. In the meanwhile, hopefully next week you might have something to at least play around with. And in the meanwhile, happy pinball.